Welcome to a couple of musicians. Our guest today. Welcome to a couple of musicians.
Your face looked weird right before you said welcome.
Welcome to a couple of musicians. I'm Kerry.
I'm Keve.
And we're a couple of musicians. Welcome to a couple of musicians.
I'm Keve.
I'm Kerry.
We're very excited today to welcome Amelia Gold.
Amelia Gold runs the music program at the Elisabeth Morrow School in New Jersey.
We've been hearing for years about the huge success of this program. So we're very excited to hear how she got it started and how she's coping during these COVID times.
Up, people, but I don't even know how to make this full screen. I live my entire life on Zoom. Let me get a kid. Hold on one second. I have 4 children. I do so many Zooms. Hold on. And sometimes I need someone who's chill and possibly a Virgo or a Libra with me. Let me now get a teenager.
Well, I don't know. None of this is all old.
I don't know how.
Like a great piece of music, the program started as a simple enough concept. The brainchild of Amelia Gold began with an innocent question to then head of school Stephen Jones.
Wouldn't it be cool if we had a summer music festival here? Because it just, with the trees and the idyllic setting and the children. And he looked at me, yes.
Thank you for having me on, because I'm always excited to talk about kids and music.
I remember from being at Manhattan Prep with you, and first of all, we had Diane Flagello, who was
my idol.
Amazing. And so you had her, and you had sort of that image of a mentor of this woman who cared so much about the students at the school. She came to every recital. She cared about everybody. And I think that was so great to have her as a youngster. And I remember your family being always so present and happy and alive, and there'd be a reception and your family will have thrown it, and that's what I remember you guys as being so larger than life. And when we talk to friends and colleagues of ours that work with you, they Wayne Dumaine, Liz Handman, Karen Polishuk, they all say that you have endless optimism for your program.
Every single person you mentioned is such a epic rock star, and I'd forgotten that we go back that far. I mean, that's and MSM Prep is where those seeds were planted, and Diane, I literally spoke about Diane Flagello yesterday. Today, I actually said to someone, because she is the goddess queen. She always has something positive to say, and especially if you're working with children. If you believe in the potential of the human being spirit at any age, right? I'm still growing and changing and learning and trying and succeeding and failing and I'm a little bit fearless, because I don't feel judged by the world. And I think that mentality, was my gift from people like Diane Flagello, that I was okay to be, we have a saying in school, I don't get embarrassed. What could be embarrassing? This is my whole life, teaching children. I gave a symposium yesterday just to my school's faculty. And because I think everyone is so heavy, we're in school 5 days a week, 7:30 to 3:30. Full time. I ran all of my programs during COVID, full programs. We did 12 concerts in the spring. I'm trying to keep the music going and keep the focus on connection, love, creativity, because I feel being with children is my food. I love adults too. They're super fun. but being with children also feeds me. So I don't want to sit at a desk. I can't create unless I'm with the kids, because everything comes from what they need. You know, it's like, I still have the shafizzles. My student came up with the word nerve-sighted, nervous excited, nerve-sighted. At our school, there are 4 C's: courtesy, cooperation, consideration, and compassion. And so those are kind of like our core values at Elisabeth Morrow. The year I graduated from Juilliard, I started at MSM and Elisabeth Morrow. And I'm like, I'll do it for a year in between my masters, because Juilliard, you know, I'm from the Love Machine factory. Juilliard, like, wasn't maybe the right choice for the likes of me. Like, I met Brian there. I met some of my best friends there. I had the best experiences of my life there. But I never was like, I want to be the next whatever, or I want to be playing an orchestra. Like, I just was like, I want to play music. Like, I just didn't have that mindset. I got to EMS by mistake in my senior year, and I was working at the JCC because of Dorothy Kaplan-Rothman forced me to teach there on Sundays. And I was then teaching a group class, and the head of Elisabeth Morrow School was looking for like a partnership to try to, you know, make friends with people in the community. And he saw me teach a class, and I was then 21 years old. And he wrote to me, because in those days, like, I didn't have a cell phone, and said, we have an opening for a violin teacher and someone to conduct the orchestra. I went and I took the interview, and I kind of fell in love with the place, but I never like pictured myself nestled away somewhere. Some people criticize me because I do believe in the magic of art and music. There is something that we don't bring to it, that it is intrinsically amazing, and that if we just point to it, it reveals itself. And EMS is kind of like that as a place. And my headmaster, Stephen Jones, who is no longer alive, he believed in me. And he was an amateur cellist who was in my orchestra. The department was created. It's because of Stephen Jones that when I came to him and said, wouldn't it be fun to have a string festival here? He's like, let's have a meeting on Monday. He supported me, mentored me, and played in the orchestra until he retired. And then the next head of school, who was David Lowry, he just let me go wild. So then I started another program with David. I said, we need a practice camp for the string festival. And he's like, you do your thing. That then turned into a full-blown performing arts camp. And then my next head of school, who was Aaron Cooper, decided that music should be a core subject at the Elisabeth Morrow School. That every child, it should not be an extra fee. It should be part of the curriculum, and every child should have lessons 3 to 4 times a week. And that should just be what is expected for children. So every one of my heads inspired me and pushed me. You know, a big part of my programs is access. So right now, like, equity and inclusion is like the buzzwords. The programs I run were all founded with that at the core because of Russ Berry, who was the guy that created the troll doll. Anyway, I taught his children, and when I created the idea of the string festival, he believed in the mission and called me up on Christmas Eve and said, Amelia, who is this going to make any money? And I'm like, I was like 23. I'm like, I don't think so. You know, here's $10,000. You make sure that any kid that deserves to come can come.
What's your solution right now with the winds and brass? Because clearly that's where I am right now, and it's a tough place.
So as of today, the letter went out that the Medical Advisory Committee, which Brian is actually the chairperson of,
great,
voted unanimously that we can now play outside, 6 feet apart, if the children are seated in chairs and come to a small space with no more than 5 kids. And then I created another curriculum with Wayne, who's the director of bands, and I bought them all roll-out keyboards. So they're going to be doing music theory, ear training, which we don't do enough of. I mean, hello, improvisation, we don't do enough of. We don't do it enough music history. We do not do enough listening. So it's like, I'm kind of looking at this time a little bit differently, you know, more as where are the opportunities? Like, I have 7-year-olds who know how to tune their violin. I never would have taken that time. You know, now after COVID, we're gonna be able to start our rehearsals like 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm like, take out your tuner, you know, and I help them. I mean, you should see me. I go into my violin class. It's like, it's Grey's Anatomy with gloves, you know, like clear, you know, I'm tuning the violins, gowned up, gloved up, you know, it's crazy, but
Yeah.
you know, we're doing things that we don't always have time to do. And to me, like, those are the opportunities. But,
Yeah.
you know, in talking with teachers and any artist, you know, there has never been a more important time to be visible and to create, because I'm running a WIN program where kids couldn't play WINs. And I was like, oh, I will create an alternate curriculum. We're going to do an all-school winter arts festival virtually. And I'm going to come up with a million different ways. You know, we can't have, my full orchestra is 179 kids. We can't have an orchestra like that anymore. We can have a bunch of different ones, and then we'll layer it. And then we'll have the babies doing Ukrainian bell carol, ding, 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 ding. And my little ones will be a, and then my big kids, yeah, da, 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 you know, and we'll put it all together and then do a virtual art show with dance and all my guitar and create something super magical and super visible for the kids to be like, I still have a voice. That completely made my day, and I will beam you in at the next Unicorn Awareness Day that I will have at my music festival this coming summer, because that is a day. And thank you for making this magic and for having me. Mwah.
All right.
Thank
Great
you.
to see you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
It has been the marker of time for my life and for almost everyone involved with the String Festival, because it's that moment that kind of freezes. You know, as I look at the world now, 20 years in, it's a different world. But what children need to grow is still the same.